Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Claire Trevor was an American actress renowned for her portrayals of strong, often morally ambiguous women in film noir and crime dramas. Born on March 8, 1910, in Brooklyn, New York, she had a career that spanned over 7 decades, appearing in more than 60 films and numerous television and stage productions. She became known as the Queen of Film Noir, although her talents extended far beyond any single genre. Early life and career. Claire Trevor was born Claire Wemlinger and raised in Larchmont, New York. She studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and later performed on stage and in radio before making her film debut in the early 1930s. Her screen presence quickly drew attention for its blend of sophistication, toughness, and vulnerability. Breakthrough and Hollywood success. Trevor's breakthrough came with her performances in early crime dramas and melodramas, such as Dead End, 1937, in which she played a former prostitute. Her performance earned her the first of 3 Academy Award nominations. She became known for portraying complex women caught in difficult circumstances, especially during Hollywood's golden era of film noir. She starred opposite some of the most famous leading men of the time, including John Wayne, with whom she co-starred in the classic Western Stagecoach, 1939, directed by John Ford. Trevor played the role of Dallas, a woman of ill repute, with compassion and depth. Academy Award win. Claire Trevor won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Key Largo, 1948, in which she played the alcoholic former nightclub singer Gay Dawn, opposite Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall, and Edward G. Robinson. Her unforgettable portrayal of a broken woman trapped in a gangster's world became one of the defining performances of her career. Later work and legacy. As she grew older, Trevor moved into television and continued to act in films and on the stage. She earned her 3rd Oscar nomination for The High and the Mighty, 1954. Another notable role alongside John Wayne. In addition to her acting, Trevor was also known for her philanthropic work, especially in the arts. The Claire Trevor School of the Arts at the University of California, Irvine, is named in her honor, reflecting her lasting contribution to performing arts education. Death and remembrance. Claire Trevor died on April 8, 2000, at the age of 90, in Newport Beach, California. She left behind a legacy of powerful performances and was remembered as a commanding presence in American film history. Her ability to portray both toughness and deep emotional complexity made her one of the most memorable actresses of her generation. Claire Trevor's impact on classic Hollywood cinema went beyond her screen performances. She embodied a unique blend of grit, elegance, and realism that resonated deeply with audiences. She wasn't just a supporting actress, she often dominated the screen with her emotional range, expressive face, and smoky voice. Her portrayals of conflicted, world-weary women gave depth and dignity to characters who might otherwise have been dismissed as stereotypes. Career highlights and versatility. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, Trevor demonstrated remarkable versatility. In addition to film noir, she starred in westerns, war films, and dramas. Her roles often explored women on the margins, prostitutes, singers, gangsters, molls, or struggling wives. These were characters that required emotional depth and empathy to transcend cliché, and Trevor consistently delivered. Some of her other notable films include Murder, My Sweet, 1944, a landmark film noir where she starred opposite Dick Powell as Private Eye Philip Marlowe. Born to Kill, 1947. Trevor plays a dangerously attracted widow who becomes involved with a sociopath. showcasing her ability to portray women torn between desire and self-destruction. Raw Deal, 1948, a prime example of her noir work, where she provided a narration that added melancholy and pathos to the story. Her collaborations with directors like Anthony Mann, Robert Wise, and John Huston gave her the platform to craft some of the most haunting female characters of the era. Personal life. Despite playing many tragic and tormented women on screen, Claire Trevor led a relatively quiet and private personal life. She was married 3 times, and her final marriage was to Milton Bren, a film producer. The couple settled in Southern California and remained together until his death in 1979. She had 1 son, Charles, from her second marriage, but tragically he died in a plane crash in 1978. Later years and honors. Trevor gradually stepped away from acting in the 1960s but returned occasionally for special television appearances. Her final film appearance was in Kiss Me Goodbye, 1982. A romantic comedy starring Sally Field and Jeff Bridges. In recognition of her contribution to the arts, the University of California, Irvine, named its arts school the Claire Trevor School of the Arts in 2000, a few months before her death. She was also honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6933 Hollywood Boulevard. In her later years, Trevor was remembered as not only a brilliant actress but also a generous patron of the arts and education. She frequently donated to programs supporting young actors, musicians, and visual artists, believing strongly in nurturing future generations of talent. Claire Trevor may not be as widely remembered today as some of her contemporaries, but within the history of American cinema, she holds a significant place. Her ability to humanize and elevate difficult, damaged women made her a standout in a male-dominated industry, and her performances continue to captivate film lovers and historians alike. Claire Trevor's legacy is inseparable from the golden era of Hollywood, especially the gritty world of 1940s film noir, where she carved out a powerful niche. Yet her contributions went beyond typecasting. She was not just the bad girl with a heart of gold, but a chameleon who brought authenticity to every role. Her presence was magnetic, and her work earned respect from peers, critics, and audiences for its honesty and emotional nuance. A deeper look at her acting style. Trevor's performances were known for their emotional rawness and understated intensity. Unlike some of her contemporaries who leaned into theatrical glamour or melodrama, Trevor had a grounded approach. She conveyed weariness, vulnerability, and longing with subtlety, often with just a glance, a pause, or a bitter laugh. She mastered the art of showing a character's damage without ever asking for pity. She often played characters society had judged harshly: alcoholics, fallen women, criminals, or desperate survivors, but she gave them a dignity and complexity that was ahead of her time. These weren't just supporting roles, they were deeply human portraits. More key performances: The Amazing Dr. Clitterhouse, 1938, starring alongside Edward G. Robinson and Humphrey Bogart. Trevor played a glamorous and savvy gangster's accomplice with intelligence and flair. Dark Command, 1940, another collaboration with John Wayne. This Civil War-era Western further demonstrated her adaptability outside noir and crime genres. Marjorie Morningstar, 1958, in one of her later prominent roles. Trevor played Marjorie's traditional, protective mother, a turn away from her earlier edgy roles and proof of her dramatic range. Television work: Claire Trevor also made a successful transition into television, with appearances on popular anthology series like Playhouse 90, The United States Steel Hour, and The Love Boat. Her television performances earned her an Emmy Award in 1957 for Producers Showcase, where she starred in a live production of Dodsworth. Recognition and awards. Academy Awards. 1. Key Largo, 1948, Best Supporting Actress nominated. Dead End, 1937, Best Supporting Actress nominated. The High and the Mighty, 1954, Best Supporting Actress Emmy Award, 1957. Best Live Television Performance for Dodsworth National Board of Review. Best Supporting Actress, 1948, for Key Largo. Golden Globe nominee. For Marjorie Morningstar, 1958, her win for Key Largo is often singled out as one of the greatest supporting performances in film history. Particularly the haunting scene where her character is forced to sing for a drink, a moment that perfectly distills Claire Trevor's gifts for pathos, strength, and fragility. Philanthropy and cultural legacy. Following the loss of her husband and her only son, Trevor devoted much of her later life to philanthropy. Her donations to UC Irvine were transformative. She provided millions in funding for the performing and visual arts. In 1999, she received the National Medal of Arts, the highest honor given to artists by the U.S. government, recognizing both her career achievements and contributions to arts education. The Claire Trevor Theatre and Claire Trevor Museum of the Arts are key institutions within the university's campus and continue to inspire future generations of artists. Final years and lasting memory. Though she gradually faded from the spotlight in her later decades, Claire Trevor lived a long, full life, passing away at age 90 in Newport Beach, California. She remained active in arts communities and was known to be sharp, gracious, and deeply supportive of younger talent even in her last years. Trevor's filmography has experienced a critical resurgence among film scholars and noir aficionados in recent decades. She is now appreciated not only as a top-tier character actress but as a pioneer in how complex women were portrayed in cinema. Claire Trevor, in many ways, was Hollywood's conscience, giving voice to those characters that society often silenced. Her strength as an actress came from revealing the pain beneath the surface, showing that strength and suffering often live side by side. Her work endures not only because of her talent but because she brought humanity to roles that might otherwise have been forgotten. Certainly, to explore Claire Trevor's remarkable life and legacy further is to delve into the nuanced evolution of American cinema itself, from the studio system's glamour to its grittier, more character-driven golden age. Trevor was not just a star. She was an actress with deep dramatic instincts and moral complexity, who thrived in stories that probed human frailty, conflict, and redemption. A star who defied typecasting. While many actresses in the 1930s and 1940s were tightly typecast by studios, Trevor was unusually flexible in her career. She could play the femme fatale, the worn-down singer, the upright wife, or the cynical realist with equal conviction. Though frequently identified with noir, she wasn't confined to one genre or archetype. What set her apart was her ability to disappear into a role, shedding glamour for grit, often letting herself appear disheveled, vulnerable, or tragic, at a time when many leading ladies clung to idealized beauty. This courage gave her performances rare emotional weight. Critics noted how she never asked for sympathy, yet evoked it. Her characters often suffered in silence or rage, enduring circumstances created by men, war, poverty, or crime. She gave voice to female despair and defiance during a time when cinema often muted it. An understated pioneer for women in Hollywood, Claire Trevor may not have marched or made overt political statements, but her body of work represented a quiet feminist power. In an industry dominated by male leads and directors, she insisted on complexity. Her women were not decorations, nor one-dimensional villains. They were tired, passionate, morally torn, intelligent, resilient. In roles like Key Largo's Gay Dawn, she dared to be pathetic, pitiable, yet proud. Her character, a fallen singer drowning in addiction and humiliation, contains one of the most emotionally raw moments in film history when forced to sing for her captor. It is a painful, courageous scene and one that won her the Oscar. Connections with cinema icons. Trevor's career intersected with many of Hollywood's legendary figures. John Wayne, she starred with Wayne in 3 films, Stagecoach, Allegheny Uprising, Dark Command, and though he was the towering hero, her characters always had substantial emotional and narrative weight. Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson, in Key Largo. Her scenes with these noir titans showed that she could match their intensity beat for beat, often stealing focus with her quiet suffering and explosive outbursts. Directors. Trevor worked with some of the most respected directors of her time, including John Ford, John Huston, Anthony Mann, and Raoul Walsh, adapting to their different styles with natural ease. She also often served as the emotional anchor of a story. While the men may have driven the plot, her characters often embodied its moral cost. Critical reappraisal. In recent decades, film historians have revisited Trevor's filmography with fresh eyes. As interest in classic noir and strong female performances has grown, so has appreciation for her artistry. She is now frequently cited alongside actresses like Barbara Stanwyck, Ida Lupino, and Gloria Graham as a cornerstone of the noir canon. Film festivals, retrospectives, and academic discussions continue to honor her work, particularly her collaborations with RKO, Warner Brothers, and Republic Pictures, where she consistently elevated every film she appeared in, whether prestige picture or B-movie. Personal poise and grace off-screen. Claire Trevor was known for her modesty, intellect, and loyalty. Despite her fame, she remained grounded. Colleagues spoke of her warmth and dry sense of humor. After retiring from acting, she became an influential arts advocate in Southern California, preferring quiet dedication over public fanfare. She was deeply affected by personal tragedies, especially the untimely death of her son, but channeled her grief into generosity. Her support helped grow the Claire Trevor School of the Arts into one of the West Coast's premier training grounds for actors, dancers, designers, and filmmakers. Final thoughts. Claire Trevor was never the flashiest name on a marquee, but she left a legacy of truth-telling through performance. She told the stories of broken people with unflinching honesty and gave voice to characters usually ignored by polite society. She was a woman of strength, resilience, and deep artistic intuition. To watch a Claire Trevor film is to witness a masterclass in subtle emotional acting, a lesson in how to evoke empathy without asking for it, to portray heartbreak without melodrama, and to dominate a scene with silence as much as with words. She remains one of the most underrated legends of classic Hollywood. Her career continues to inspire actors, especially women, who seek to portray the world as it really is: complicated, beautiful, painful, and profoundly human. Certainly, diving deeper into Claire Trevor's life and artistry only reinforces how extraordinary she was. Not only as an actress but as a cultural figure who shaped the emotional core of mid-20th century American cinema. A career of courage and craft. One of the most remarkable aspects of Claire Trevor's career was her artistic bravery. While many actresses of her time were forced to conform to the narrow demands of glamour and idealized femininity, Trevor dared to appear ragged in Key Largo, desperate in Born to Kill, haunted in Murder, My Sweet World, weary yet hopeful in The High and the Mighty. She understood something profound about human behavior: that dignity and despair often coexist. She didn't glamorize these characters, she illuminated them from the inside out. Her skill lay in portraying the kind of woman who had seen too much, survived too much, and still carried herself with a sliver of hope, or at least defiance. In doing so, Trevor humanized those society often condemned: alcoholics, gangsters, lovers, fallen women, and social outcasts. Influence on the film noir genre. Claire Trevor's performances were integral to shaping the archetypes of film noir, but she often subverted them. Not just a femme fatale, but a wounded soul. Not just a victim, but someone complicit in her own downfall. Not just the loyal woman, but someone who struggled to remain loyal to herself. In Born to Kill, 1947, her portrayal of Helen Brent, a woman drawn to a violent man despite knowing better, is one of noir's most psychologically nuanced performances. Rather than play her as merely seduced or naive, Trevor gave her an eerie inner conflict, as if Helen was both disturbed by and fascinated by her own moral decay. It's a performance of chilling honesty. A voice that carried pain. Claire Trevor's voice was one of her greatest tools, low, husky, and tinged with weariness. It carried the weight of a woman who had lived hard and loved harder. Directors used her voice not just to deliver dialogue but to evoke mood, memory, and menace. In Raw Deal, 1948, her voiceover narration, wistful, haunted, mournful, is one of the most emotionally evocative in all of noir. She gave voice to loneliness, longing, and regret with heartbreaking subtlety, adding dimension to the entire film. Notable collaborations and contributions. Trevor's career is also a portrait of collaborative excellence. She consistently elevated the work of the people around her, with John Huston in Key Largo. She delivered one of her most harrowing performances, which Huston reportedly encouraged her to approach with deep vulnerability. With Anthony Mann in Raw Deal, she anchored the visual brutality of Mann's direction with a soulful internal narrative. With John Ford in Stagecoach, she helped redefine the Western heroine, not as a damsel in distress but as a survivor of scorn. Her ability to match the strength and intensity of co-stars like Bogart, Wayne, and Robinson helped pave the way for stronger female leads in decades to come. A private figure in a public world. Despite her fame, Claire Trevor never became a tabloid fixture. She valued her privacy and rarely gave interviews. When she did speak publicly, she was articulate, wry, and self-aware. She expressed gratitude for her career but never glorified it, often saying that acting was work she loved, but work nonetheless. After stepping away from Hollywood, she focused her energies on cultural philanthropy. She gave generously to theaters, music programs, and arts education. Her most enduring gift, the Claire Trevor School of the Arts at UC Irvine, remains a tribute to her belief in art as a force for transformation and healing. Legacy and contemporary recognition. Today, Claire Trevor is more appreciated among film historians and cinephiles than by the mainstream public, but her legacy continues to grow. Film noir festivals frequently screen her movies to sold-out crowds. Academic courses on gender in film use her performances to explore women's representation in mid-century American culture. Modern actresses like Frances McDormand, Laura Dern, and Cate Blanchett have cited actresses like Trevor.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.